Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. There have been two hot topics that I've been being asked on my Discord quite recently, and that is one, how to parse in Naxxramas as a warlock, which we are going to be going over in the next few videos here, and two, what exactly should we be wearing on Sephiron? What should we be wearing if we're progressing through Sephiron? What should we be wearing if we're parsing on Sephiron or if we're trying to go for a speedrun, and why we wear those items? Since Sephiron ended up being a big wall for most guilds and one of the harder bosses in Naxxramas, if not the hardest. So that is what we're going to go over today. We're going to be reviewing a Twitch VOD that I did live on my stream that I will link right here. And if you want to come by and stop by the stream, we had a great time on stream. It was a lot of laughs. I thought it was a really good stream. I really enjoyed it a lot. So if you want to stop by sometime, go ahead and follow the link. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Right here. Okay. So first of all, this is the list if your guild hasn't quite down Sephiron yet. You guys are progressing through Sephiron. Oh, wait, I'm memeing. I actually have Sephiron's left eye. I'm memeing at Sephiron's left eye. One sec. Okay, no one saw anything. No one saw anything. This is the setup. No one saw anything. This is the setup if you're progressing through Sephiron. And when I say this is the setup, that doesn't mean like this is the only thing you should wear. Don't wear anything else. Don't even look at anything. That is not what I mean. This is just a efficient setup and has good trade-offs for frost resist versus spell power lost. This is a very, very efficient setup. However, I will note here that the frost setup in this set, the amount of frost resist that you have in this setup, you could go up, you could go down. Most likely you'd want to go up in frost resist, depending on how hard of a time that your healers are having managing their mana. And on top of that, it also depends on the rate in which you kill the boss. If you guys have world buffs going into Sephiron, you guys have had plenty of practice and you're ready to down the boss, you could go with a little bit less frost resistance. If you guys don't have world buffs, or you guys have been having a really hard time, you don't quite have enough healers, you're kind of on the lower amount of healers, then you only want to go up in frost resistance. But if we were to go up in frost resistance, what would we want to replace? What would be the first options that we want to replace? If we can look here, we see the ring. We could swap this ring for like Icy Depths, which is a 20 frost resistance ring off of the Scepter quest chain, or we could go for like a plus 21 Peridot Circle green, something along those lines. So let's say that we could trade 37 spell power and 1 hit rating for 21 frost resist. We could do that. We could do that. Or there's another necklace here that we could pick up called Touch of Frost off of a Nubercon. Here, we'd be trading the spell power from Amulet of Veknilash and 1% crit rating, which is less DPS value than the ring, and we're also gaining more frost resist. So the ring has more DPS value than the Amulet of Veknilash, so it's already better for you to trade your amulet. But on top of that, Touch of Frost has even more frost resist than what the ring would have. So if you can get your hands on a Touch of Frost, this would be a super efficient trade-off for you to wear. And by efficient trade-off, once again, I mean frost resistance gained or DPS lost. This is a very good setup. If you don't have Touch of Frost from a Nubercon, because obviously there's going to be a lot of classes that want this necklace, which you guys should be giving it to your DPS primarily. Do not give it to a healer. If you don't have that, there is a blue BOE necklace for all of you rich oil princes out here. This necklace is also a good necklace and a pretty good trade-off as well. The only issue is this is a BOE blue that drops off of a rare spawn in Winter Spring. So this is going to be pretty costly. I've been seeing this go for anywhere between 600 gold and 1,000 gold on different servers. So this is also a good necklace if you do want to get a little bit more frost resist because you don't trust your healers are having a hard time, you're lacking DPS, or whatever the reason might be. If you need to go even more than this, even more, then you could go for a ring. And if you want to go even more beyond doing that ring as well, then you can look at doing a frost reflector as well. And let's see what we would be at if we did that frost reflector and a ring. All right, so we're at 215. And that's with no world buffs. So that means we don't have Juju Chill. We don't have Mark of the Wild. We don't have any Paladin Aura or Shaman Totem or anything like that. And on top of that, all Warlocks are going to be wanting to demonic sacrifice Void Walker here. Because even if you're in a super, super big dick speedrun, most of the time, the healing that you're going to get from the Void Walker demonic sacrifice, if you compare that to mana efficiency for your healers, it's going to be worth it. The difference in your damage is not going to make or break the speedrun, but healer mana is going to be very, very important. So this is another setup that you can go for if you're progressing up to Sephiron. Let me answer a couple questions here, and then after I answer a couple questions, we'll look at the other setup on what is the technical bis ultimate big dick frost resist. And then after that big dick frost resist, then we'll take some extra questions, see what you guys think. And then maybe we can toss in a little bit of fun, and I'll break down the spec that I think people are going to play for speedruns. So, imagine having 4-4-2-3, you get some sweet ass prio. I actually don't have sweet ass prio. I wanted 4-piece tier 3, like that was my number 1 prio, other than Mark was my number 1 prio actually, but Mark is going to melee at the moment, so I'm not getting that. So I got 4-piece tier 3, and now I'm just sitting on that for a while. Sneo subscribed with the tier 1. Thank you so much, dude. I'm sorry I had a little bit of a delay on that. No mages allowed, but what about male orc lock? Let's go, baby. Blood Fury uppercut. No, dude, no. I mean, fuck. I appreciate the sub, brother. Trust me, I appreciate the sub, but like my sweatshirt, I am boiling with rage inside of my sweatshirt right now. Boiling with rage. You can stay. You can stay in the channel because I love you for the sub, but you're cringing me out of my skin right now. You know what I mean? You know that feeling? You do? Yeah. It's that. It's not orc rage. No, dude. It's not orc rage, okay? You know who looks like an actual male orc? Like in World of Warcraft, a male orc. If you were to make a male orc like naked with like a workout tee and made him like light brown, it looks like Tyler 1. Am I right? Like make a male orc that's bald with a dented head and he's like light skin, and it's Tyler 1, right? Just give him like a workout tee. You feel me? It's Tyler 1, right? And just give him the little dent on his head, like the little dip, you know? Dude, it's uncanny. You guys, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, we're World of Warcraft gamers, but you've heard of T1, of course. By the way, respect to T1, just saying. What do you think about the Lothar Reflection Trinket? Not worth. The Scarab out of AQ that gives you 100 resist. Petrified Scarab, that's better. Petrified Scarab is super, super good for Sephiron. No, I agree. You're just jealous. No, why is everyone in favor of the fucking Orc Warlocks? You guys, okay, we're moving on. No more, you guys all need a timeout, okay? We're not answering any more questions. We're gonna move on to the next part. You guys keep talking about cringe orcs. All right, I can't. Okay, next setup. This is a setup, potentially, you know, this doesn't mean that everyone who's looking to speedrun in any guild, horde, alliance, whatever, you only have to go this setup. Keep that in mind. This setup is flexible, but this is an example setup for someone who is looking to speedrun Naxxramas. So what changed here? We're running double rings, We're running Plague Heart 4-piece setup with the belt, not with the pants. And we're running it with the belt because technically Eye Stalker Wastecord is better, 100%. Eye Stalker Wastecord is 7 spell power better. But if we run the belt, you get slightly more stamina and you get 12% damage on your corruption. So it's worth it because you get that little bit more stamina and your corruption's gaining damage. And that damage on corruption is pretty nice to have because generally speaking in speedruns, you really... there's so many warriors that like you don't need a huge amount of debuffs for each class. Like you're not going to have Curse of Shadows, you're not going to have Shadow Weaving, you're not going to have all of that different shit, right? So you should be able to have a corruption slot depending on how many warlocks you bring, obviously, but I believe that guilds are only going to bring 2 warlocks, which we'll get to that later. So yeah, we're wearing the glacial leggings. 40 frost resist is huge. 10 frost resist enchant with the icy guard. Plague Heart sandals, Plague Heart belt, frost resist ring, Mark of the Champion. If you guys can get your hands on Mark of the Champion, I personally love this trinket. I think it's just so good. But if you don't have Mark of the Champion, you can go with Rune of the Dawn, or if you don't have Rune of the Dawn, let's say you got Restrained Eye of Sephiron, you are one of the lucky duckers, you could go with Restrained Eye of Sephiron as well. But personally, I would go with Mark of the Champion. I think Mark of the Champion's insane. Banshee Finger is just a super efficient slot to trade off. Then we have Glacial Gloves, which is again super good slot for trade off because you're getting huge frost resistance, you're getting stamina for your Voidwalker Demonic Sacrifice, and it's not just giving you that, it's still giving you some offensive power with 15 spell power. That's not huge amount of offensive power, but it's still a very good trade-off if you're comparing these to Dark Storm Gauntlets. The amount of spell power that you lose versus the mitigation that you gain is very worth it in the glove slot. Again, bracers as well. If you were to compare these to the hit bracers that you should be wearing, Rock Fury bracers are good, but these are 16 spell power difference and 1 hit difference for a huge amount of frost resist. 20 frost resist and 20 stamina is very nice. That's not that much lost for the mitigation gained. And I'd just like to say, as a reminder, taking a quick pause here, yes, you technically could down the boss with less frost resistance than this. You could say, Alive, in these top end guilds, they're gonna run 30 warriors, they're gonna have huge buffs, they're gonna go in there totally decked out, and they're gonna melt Sephiron. Why the hell should I wear so much frost resistance if Sephiron's just gonna get melted anyway? And the reason is, the safer you play on frost resistance, because your damage is not going to make or break a speedrun on Sephiron. You're there because you need to curse and do supplemental damage to the boss. So the safer you play with frost resistance, the less healers you need. And not only do the less healers you need, the more efficient the healers can be with their mana. So using the absolute bare minimum amount of healers and also playing conservatively with their mana is going to be the play for clearing Naxxramas as fast as possible. If you were trying to parse on Sephiron, if you're just trying to get a good parse on Sephiron, then you don't want to wear the setup. You want to wear an aggressive setup. And we can go over something like that after we go over this setup. But this is for a speedrun, and you're looking to mitigate damage. So let's just get that out of the way first and foremost, because in a speedrun, you don't want to take time out of the run to say, okay, we need some DPS to leave, we're going to swap up the roster, we're going to bring in some more healers into the roster, this, that. You don't want to do that in a speedrun. You don't want to do that. Okay, so to finish it off, we got the Glacial Vest. This is one of the tier 3 items that we're swapping. The tier 3 chest is super good. Normally we would wear the tier 3 chest instead of the belt, because Eye Stalker's better, and the tier 3 chest is just super good. But once again, we really want that mitigation. And the Glacial chest has 40 frost resist, which is a huge amount of frost resist. We just cannot dodge this. If we're trying to play mitigation heavy, and we're trying to play conservatively for our healers so we can be more aggressive on our raid composition, then we want to go for this mitigation setup. And that's also why we're going to be wearing Glacial Cloak instead of Sephiron's Drape. Sephiron's Drape is also a pretty good item to use on this boss, but it's not ideal for mitigation. And then we've got the tier 3 shoulder pads, and once again, the necklace and tier 3 helmet. Also, it is important to note here that the 2-piece setup on your tier 3 set bonus is, not 2-piece setup, 2-piece bonus is actually really, really good here. It has approximately a 10% proc chance. So by the time you down Sephiron, you get enough procs of this on average to give you essentially an extra greater frost protection potion worth of mitigation. So just this 2-piece bonus alone on average is like, it's acting like you popped an extra potion, which is actually really, really nice. All right, couple more questions, and then we can go over a setup. If you guys aren't trying to speedrun, you're just going in with Darkmoon Faire, laying your dick on the table and trying to parse. We'll go over a setup for that. Let's get some questions real quick. Orc Warlock meme to troll you. Daddy Gul'dan was Bis male Orlock. Gul'dan was okay, but like, he was just a loser in the end of it, right? He's just another loser. Just another loser. Because he rolled an orc, obviously. We all know gnome is the one true lock. I mean, I'm a gnome. I don't like being a gnome. Gnomes are kind of cringe a little bit. But you know they're good, so it is what it is. I thought MLC was better on casters compared to melee. Mark of the Champion. It's really good on melee and casters. The reason why you want to put it on, well, the reason why my guild wants to put it on melee is because melee are what's going to carry a speedrun. Casters aren't important enough in Naxxramas to be stacking like 8 warlocks, 8 mages. You're not important enough. Warriors still just fucking own, right? So my guild is speedrun oriented. So we're only going to get a certain amount of phylacteries before we start seriously speedrunning. So we need to filter all those phylacteries on the warriors that we're going to actually bring into the speedrun. Because it's just an insane trinket, obviously. Are you trying to say that we aren't the pumpers for Sephiron? No, Curse XU. By the way, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you being here. We do good damage. We do. But when looking at raid composition, especially for a speedrun, it's not just about like, hey, you do good on this boss. You have to do good on this trash pack, this trash pack, this trash pack, that, but you have to do good everywhere. You know you miss me? Yeah, but I'm not gonna admit it. Don't flatter yourself, okay, woman? Okay, so what are we gonna be doing if we're big dick? What are we gonna be doing if we're just, you know, straight up big dick in it? Let's see. Let's go with our Bis PvE setup first. We're gonna start there as a baseline, and then we'll go into what frost resist pieces we actually want to replace. We'll start there. We'll start big dick and then slowly shrink the big dick. Dark Stormies, all right. Eye Stalk. Where then polarity's at? Polarity. Fallen God. And we're gonna go with Band of the Inevitable instead of Seal of the Damned because our dots are slightly more important than our Shadow Bolts. Well, not necessarily more important, but they go up in value because we have times where we need to move and times where we need to hide, and those are times that we cannot be casting Shadow Bolt. So Band of the Inevitable is going to be slightly more valuable on this fight compared to Seal of the Damned. Okay, let's start here. This is our baseline. We have 15 frost resist. Boom, we did it, boys. That's it. We got 15 frost resist. Fuck it. That's it right there. When I said lay your dick on the table, you fucking lay your dick on the table. You feel me? Hey, Budkins, how's it going, dude? I appreciate you stopping by. No. Okay, no. Okay, I was memeing. We're not giving him the whole dick. No. We're not giving him the whole dick. No. I was just joking. I was just joking. Well, we do a little bit of frost resist. We do a little bit of frost. That was a meme, guys. Ha ha! You guys fell for it, losers. You losers. You fell for it. No, we're gonna help the healer out a little bit. I guess. Healers, you feel me? Healers. Why don't you just heal the damage, right? Why aren't you just a good enough healer to heal the damage? I don't want to wear frost resistance. Stupid. All right, let's help the healers out. So first, let's look at our necklace here. 15 spell power, 2% crit. As Shadow in a speedrun, well. This is for parsing. Okay, so let's say that you have Curse of Shadows. Let's say that you have PI. You have all the normal debuffs. You're flasking, blah, blah, blah. Your critical strike rating is probably going to be worth around 15 or 16. Depends on how much frost resist we're going to end up going. But this is going to be one of the first slots that we look at to trade. Because let's say it's worth 15. That means this effectively gives us 45 spell power. Let's say Dark Storm Gauntlets hit rating is about 18-ish, and this is all hypothetical. I didn't calculate it specifically for this setup, but around that ish. That means that Dark Storm Gauntlets are going to be slightly more valuable than Gem of the Trapped Innocence if we're looking at just what the stats give us raw, based not comparing it to the Frost Resist alternative, just looking at what it gives us. And then the rings comparatively give about as much as the Dark Storm Gauntlets. 36 one hit, 37 one hit, Rock Fury Bracers 27 one hit. So we can see already that the slots that we want to trade off are the slots that give the lowest amount of offensive power, but also really, really high frost resist. So like one of the really, really best ones that we could do would be Dark Storm Gauntlets as one of our first ones. Glacial, and then we could swap Rock Fury Bracers, Glacial. Thinking we keep the huge dick pants. You feel me? We keep the huge dick pants. Really, what I'm thinking about here is we do the wand, Banshee. Come on, Banshee finger. Wand is always just a really good trade. Wand is free. Wand is just a free trade. Now, we have 65 frost resist. That's without Mark of the Wild. That's without Totem. That's without Pally Aura. And that's without Juju Chill. I'm thinking we could go one more frost resist piece and call it a day right there. If you guys go in there with Darkmoon Fair, you guys have Nax Ramus gear, you got the big dick slapper warriors with, you know, Gressel, and you guys, you know, you got it. You guys got multiple Mark of the Champions on, like, you guys got it. You know what I mean? You're there. You're at the end game. You're there. Then I would say maybe you could stop here. If you have a Paladin in your group, you're using your Juju Chill, you guys have Darkmoon Fair, you're just blasting the boss, you know? Then maybe you could run this setup. If you want to be a little bit safer, let's say that your kill window, let's say that your kill window's just barely not good enough. Like this setup is dangerous. Your healers are almost you had 1 or 2 deaths on the fight. This is just your kill time is just barely not there. Then I would be looking to probably swap the necklace here. Be swapping the necklace for Touch of Frost. And then try this. If this should be good enough. If everyone is in the parsing mindset, your warriors have their cooldowns, your rogues have their cooldowns, mages are popping off, you know, you have PI, you guys have Darkmoon Fair. This should certainly be enough. If for any reason you need a little bit more than this, then I would go with Rob Mladny's Icy Grasp and then call it there. But this should be good enough if you guys are super geared in the end game and you guys are just doing a parsing run. This is not good for a speed run. This is not good for progressing. But if you guys are specifically doing a parsing run, this should be sufficient enough as long as you have world buffs and you're not slacking on any consumables whatsoever. So one other thing we could go for here. Petrified Scarab. You can, if you have this trinket, you can super cheese on a parse run. Honestly, you could probably just go with something like this. If you have this trinket, again, it's really gonna depend on how good your healers are, how fast you're killing the boss, and primarily how fast you kill the boss. Your kill window is going to vastly determine how good Petrified Scarab is. But as of the recording of this video, Petrified Scarab, the way that it works is this 100 resistance that you get for 1 minute, it lasts a whole minute, right? It says every time a hostile spell lands on you, it's reduced by 10. So if you get a spell landed on you, it'll go to 90, then another spell to 80. But how it's working with Sephiron Aura, it stays at 100. It doesn't tick down. You don't lose the resistances. So for this whole minute, you get 100 resistance. So if you can nuke the boss really fast, and this has a decent percent uptime, then this trinket is really good. It lasts a minute and has a cooldown for 3 minutes, so it has a 33% uptime. Just baseline. But let's say you guys kill the boss super fast, like 2 minutes 30 seconds or something like that. Then that means the percent uptime is even higher. So this is a possible way to super omega cheese Sephiron, but again, it's going to really depend on your healers and really depend on how fast you can kill the boss. But Petrified Scarab has very big potential for parsing on Sephiron in particular. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, you thought some of it was funny, and you want to see some of the parts that I cropped out of the video, you can always check my Twitch that I'll link in the description and watch the VOD there. And also, stop by sometime, come say hi. I love meeting all the people that have been watching my YouTube videos. It's really nice to chat with you guys. And also, just to help me out, boys, I know this is asking a lot, but just go ahead down below and click the like button. I really appreciate it. And if you're really feeling the holiday spirit, you can click the subscribe button too. Anyways, thank you so much, boys. The next video will be coming out shortly, and I will see you guys next time.
I wanna see